Hi, y'all. Jamie here, 54-year-old proud trans woman from New Orleans, Louisiana. So, where I left off yesterday, I had gone to jail for prostitution for my first time for prostitution, yeah. And I learned some very valuable things while I was in there. How to make various items, and I was another step in me learning how to survive, to be honest with you. Um, So when I got out, I went back to my apartment at 2212 Dunleavy. And when I got there, my dear friend Dino had turned the apartment into a shooting gallery. For those of you who don't know, that's when a lot of people are doing drugs and shooting up, and yeah, it's not a pretty scene. So that's what was going on when I walked in. Not only that, but Dino owed the guy who was supplying the drugs. Guess who had to take care of that? Fresh out of jail. Yeah, that would be me. And I didn't have money because I had been in jail. So, yeah, guess what I did? Took it out in trade. Nature's credit card, honey. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Anyway, so after I cleared out my house, because I did, once all that was over, I was like, no, you all gotta go. And me and Dino had a really long heart-to-heart about what was going on. And then we sat down with Bo and, Angel and all of us, and we were talking. And Dino finally said what the real problem was. He was having a really hard time because no matter what, he couldn't make money. He wasn't attracting attention to make money, and he wasn't like, guys were not picking him up because everywhere he was going with us, they liked trans girls, They were into the dolls. So one day, when that day came and we were sitting there having that talk, a friend of ours, Patty, came over. And Patty was drop dead gorgeous too. She was one of those girls. She already had her implants and she already had this done and that done. So, of course we were jealous. Anyway, she stopped by and we were sitting there talking to Dino about all this. And Dino said, I want one of you to put me in drag. So, I know that that's not really the best terminology to use for what we were doing, but, anyway, that was what was said. And Patty said, okay, I'll paint you. And so that evening, my friend Dino became Tracy. And when Dino became Tracy, and I'm sorry, I have been using the dead name all this time because I didn't want to spoil the story, to be honest with you all. But Tracy didn't really have gender dysphoria. Who am I kidding? She did not have gender dysphoria. She wanted to make money and she was jealous and she wanted to be able to pick up boys and she wanted to have fun, and she saw us having fun and it was really just too much for her. So we helped her and she became very popular. See, Tracy, you have to remember that, well, you don't have to remember, but Tracy, with her Latina heritage, she had a natural body. Like, she gave you natural body. She had a Kardashian butt with no hormones, no nothing. As a boy, just straight up boy, had Kardashian butt. So when she got done up that night and we went out to the bar, to the tea garden, she made money. She made money. She met a boy. She brought him home, screwed like rabbits, all that good stuff. And she never looked back after that with us. She became Tracy 24/7. And she didn't look back, and she dove in with her whole heart. And I don't think even she would have ever said that it was because she felt like she really had to be a woman, and not the same things that you hear me say or many other trans women. And this is not to knock her or shred her. This is to point out a real truth in our community that not everybody comes on board for the reasons of gender dysphoria. Gender dysphoria is important if you're going to do surgeries and things like that, I think, personally. But, the truth is that sometimes girls are born from necessity. And sometimes it's strictly smoke and mirrors for them, and in their heart, they're still who they were all along, and it's just smoke and mirrors for them. But it doesn't mean that they don't take it seriously. So, again, I'm not knocking Tracy. Tracy was one of my dearest friends, and I love her, and I will always love her. And I love all of you. And if you want to know what happens next, stick around for tomorrow. I'll be back. Talk to you later. Bye.